Okay. What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. Welcome to a very special closing ceremony ReactorCon event, of which I will be joined here with a very special guest. Today we will be discussing all things Godzilla, something I surprisingly haven't done too often on this channel, despite it being one of my largest fandoms, like up there with Star Wars and everything of like my knowledgeable stuff. And it's super fun to discuss. But joining us today, we have Brittany of BritSmash.
Hello. Hello.
It's so great. It's so great to have you here for this.
Thank you for having me.
So, I wanted to just like talk about like all range of things regarding giant monsters of Godzilla. But I guess I would probably start like how is your viewpoint and fandom with Godzilla itself?
I am more, because I only know like the mainstream ones, unfortunately. Brianna and I grew up obsessed with Godzilla. Like my dad, when we would have VHS, if you're old enough to know what that is, we wanted to watch Jurassic Park because it was a huge thing. But then my dad said, no, we're doing Godzilla instead. We're like, okay. But I was very pleasantly surprised. So we got like the first like black and white puppet film version of it because it was on discount at the swap meet. So we got that.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And so my knowledge for the universe stems mainly with Godzilla, stemming into like some of the other kaiju like King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Rodin, Mothra. Loved Mothra, but mainly with Godzilla. Not a lot of King Kong, but just unless he like fought him in certain comics and stuff that I read. Other than that, that's pretty much where my lane is, just with the king himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy one for me. I'm a big fan of like every interpretation. Well, I mean, to varying degrees. I mean, some of it get really, really silly, but it's still really fun. Yeah, primarily all the way from like the first film to 2004, a full 50-year span was their whole thing was the rubber suit acting, which is still pretty impressive. It's like they call it a suitmation, and it really is a technical marvel when you like really like lock down of like the structure of miniatures and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you look at like the time that it was made too, like that was pretty revolutionary. Like being able to come up with it.
Yeah, and it was a big like historical thing too. In 1954, because Godzilla was not made just for like a giant monster fun time. It was like an actual like allegory for the bomb.
Because they filmed it. If I'm correct, they filmed it. Or no, Godzilla, the first one came out right when the nuclear bomb hit too, or right around that time when that was like a whole huge thing. Am I mistaken?
I think the bomb dropped like it was in the 40s. Godzilla came out in 1954. But you know, not long after.
Pushed some boundaries. So I respect Godzilla for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had to rebuild first, but you know, they got their story out there, and it's so well done. And even like today, they're still making. They made a Godzilla film in Japan, which was pretty trippy but cool one. And like even to that point, it won like Film of the Year in Japan. Like it was so good. But also the new Godzilla that we've been having lately, I've also been having a grand old time.
Yes, I want to rewatch them because I for one thoroughly enjoyed that movie, and the newer one that came out with what was it, Millie Bobby Brown? That one too. Heavily enjoyed it. At least that's just me, because then we had finally got to see some of the kaiju in like a more like high definition, to put it lightly. It was very exciting to see. Because my only movie, I forgot what movie it was, but it was like Godzilla and Mothra, and the Mothra, like it was what was it with the puppet, and like she spoke, and it was just I forgot what movie that was, but I remember.
You say Mothra spoke?
Yeah, it was just like she was like flying away in the distance, and she's like goodbye, or I forgot what she said, but like she was just talking, and then like I don't know if she. I'm playing the video of the movie.
Was it Mothra talking, or was it the twins that follow her?
I think it was the twins that followed Mothra. I haven't seen that movie since I was like 10, but I always thought Mothra was beautiful. So when she was going to be put in this movie in such a time when CGI is at its peak and picking up on certain things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to be so beautiful.
Absolutely. I'm so happy, and I'm even like happy that they still like keep a lot of the original like sound effects and music.
Yes,
they're just so good.
That Godzilla roar, I'm sorry, there's nothing that beats it.
Yeah, and if for nothing else, they've even like dialed it up like to an epic degree nowadays, and it's just you get a good sound system. It's just I'm grinning ear to ear. It's so fun. Yeah, I remember it was really big for me because I was big into Godzilla before the new wave of this one. Like even to the point like I could legit name in I can't do it anymore, I don't think, but like in release or I can name like all 30 plus films.
Oh my god, Nathan.
It's just
that's impressive.
Yeah, I would just like follow a series and I'm just like looking at all of them just like, God, these are like impressive because primarily they're verses, so it's fun, it gets monster memory. But yeah, it was great. And then when like it was building up to 2014 for its first new iteration,
yes,
that was super exciting, and it was so crazy to go see. A big person that got me into Godzilla was my mom, so that's always been super fun. Even like me and my mom went to go see the new Godzilla when it came out, which was super great. She had such a good time. Like the whole audience had a great time. It was a blast. But, granted, it was also pretty like held back on the fighting most of the time, which was the common criticism. I didn't hate it, but obviously I did want more monster stuff, and they definitely paid it off in the sequel that came out, which was super fun. And yeah, in this new era, they're doing kind of their set monsterverse because they even had a standalone Kong film. Did you ever get to see that one?
Which one again?
It's called Kong Skull Island.
Yes, I did. I did see Kong Skull Island because when the King of Monsters came out, no, not the King of Monsters. What was the first Godzilla, the remastered one with Elizabeth Olsen and
yeah, they just called it Godzilla.
Yeah, that one, Godzilla. When that came out, I was like, oh my god, yes. I stayed for the credits, and then they hinted at certain things like, holy fuck. So I already knew that was what they were building towards. And they announced Kong Skull Island. Me not looking into like interviews and stuff, I just looked at like the creators and stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's the same people. Oh my god, yes. So when I saw Kong Skull Island, I'm like, all right, we're staying after. And then you pan up, and sorry, spoilers, people. But at the very end, when you pan up in there and you see Ghidorah, I know I always pronounce his name wrong, but you look and you see him like, oh my fuck. Like I remember, who did I see that with? I know I don't remember who I saw. I'm pretty sure I might have saw it with Brianna, but we were both just like, oh, it was really fun. So happy. That movie was great too.
Oh yeah, I had a blast. It's so fun. I love Skull Island more than most, and it was great. I loved a lot of like the common thing is like the characters aren't like super the best, but you're primarily there for the monsters anyway. But I still have fun with the main stars that you have. Like like I enjoyed watching Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson in Skull Island.
I did too. I thought they were great. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was interesting. Like I didn't mind their characters. Granted, I'm always there like, I need to see the monsters. I need to see the monsters.
Sure, yeah. And even if I don't like lock onto like characters completely, I primarily just lock onto actors. I'm just obsessive. But yeah, it was so fun. I remember there wasn't like a super ton of people at my opening screening for it, but I was still having a grand old time.
Oh, that was the same for me too. That was the same for what was it? 2014 was when the Godzilla movie came out, and I remember I was in a show, and my cast were like, "Hey, do you guys want to go see a movie?" And they're like, "What's playing at like 12:30 at night?" And then I'm like excited. I'm like, Godzilla. And they're all like, I mean, sure, yeah, we'll go see it. It's something to do. And I'm the only one like, guys, you don't understand. This is my shit.
Oh, absolutely.
I was so happy. And then like even recently when we saw King of Monsters, I went to that one. My friends and I, they're like, who wants to see Godzilla? I'm like, guys, I'm just going to tell you if we go, I'm nerding out. We went to the drive-ins, and I'm literally in the front of my seat at the drive-ins, like clutching my steering wheel. And I'm just like, And my friends are all laughing. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. This is my life. Oh, so, and like, no one else is like, I feel like I rarely talk to people who's like, damn, yes, the kaiju, yes. I'm like, I'm so alone.
I mean, same. I don't have a super ton of people. Before continue the thought, I want to say hello, people in chat. Hello, Monty, Jordan, and Busy Braun. Hello. Nice to see everybody here.
Hello.
Yeah, no, it's such a blast. Because I went to go see Skull Island as well, and when they did the end credits with the cave paintings of all the monsters, like I knew there was like the rumor of like everybody to show up in the next Godzilla film, but I was just like, okay, cool. I'm just, as long as I get Godzilla, and they showed him, I was like, cool. And then they show Mothra, and I'm like, oh my god, we're doing this. And then
yes, that's what I thought too. That trailer, I lost my shit. I know I got so excited I pronounced Rodan's name wrong.
I think you got Rodan.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I switched their names. I called Ghidorah Rodan, and then I
remember that.
Ghidorah Rodan. I'm like, fuck, I got way too excited. I'm like, I got way too like happy. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, fuck. But yeah, no, when that trailer, I was high as like on a moon on a kite. I was so excited.
Oh, absolutely.
I still want to keep like rewatching it, like too, just to like, they're fun. Wait, hold on. What's your favorite underrated Godzilla or any of the kaiju movie?
Any Godzilla movie ever through time?
Ever through time? Any unrated ones? Underrated, should I say?
That's a good one. I mean, there's so many varying degrees of like different elements,
right?
Because some are like super serious, some are super cheesy, and some are just a blast. Like one, I don't know how too many are underrated. I mean, I think like more people should definitely check out the first one ever. It really is like a nice, like not just a Kickstarter, but like it's like really cool, like classic
on the technical aspect too, like you could see how it evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good. A personal favorite when I was younger was the 50th anniversary one, Godzilla Final Wars, which basically hit him against everybody he's ever fought, even the American Godzilla from the 90s that a lot of people trash on, which was fun. That's a funny story. Let me tell you that story. That story is they like Toho, the Japanese company that makes Godzilla, they were like, yeah, okay, here you go. You can make an interpretation. Sure, why not? Good luck. They were just like, okay. And then we American made it, and they saw it, and they were just like, oh no. It was just like,
this is not good.
No.
Who was the lead of that movie? He was in Ferris Bueller's
Matthew Broderick, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie like, what the fuck is this?
Now, real quick, I'll say it's not a bad, it's a pretty decent monster movie, but it's not a Godzilla movie by any stretch. And that's the funny thing. Funny thing with Toho is like they start to they were like, okay, we need to get back on our track immediately to like return this around. So they had their next film that they made was Godzilla 2000, which that's
my favorite.
That was a really good one. It's great design.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that they had the spaceship, the thing that turned into the spaceship that tried to steal the genetic makeup. I think you pronounce it as Millennium? Yeah,
I don't know if I remember that monster.
It's not a common one used, but they wanted to do something different. And like, I just remember watching Godzilla 2000 with Brianna, and we fucking ate that shit up. I thought it was really fun.
Are you talking about the monster that looks like a giant wasp?
No. I'm talking the one that looks like a giant spaceship. It just kind of floats in the sky. That's Godzilla 2000. That floats in the sky, and then Godzilla.
I remember Godzilla 2000. It has that like shit, but then it actually turns into an actual monster form.
That would be Millennium.
That I think it's called Orca.
Is it?
Yeah.
Orca?
The physical ship point might have been called something else, but
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'm not trying to out nerd, but
no, you're fine. You're fine. I did enjoy Godzilla 2000. I feel like that one was like one of my favorite ones that came out because listen, that OG Godzilla, America.
Yeah, no. To that point though, like they put Godzilla 2000 out in 1999 as well, like immediate. Like, they were fast with that, and they even like another Godzilla film that they made. They make a reference. They were like, didn't somebody see Godzilla spotted in New York somewhere? And it was like, some people say so, but we have our doubts. Like in the movie, in the movie they say that. But in Final Wars, it's hilarious. They bought the look of that 98 American Godzilla, and they put him into Final Wars for Godzilla to kill immediately. Like
that's amazing.
It's running around trashing Sydney, Australia, and Godzilla's like going global, and he runs into it and he starts charging Godzilla, and all Godzilla has to do is he turns around with a tailspin, and he sends him into the opera house, and he blows up the opera house, and it's dead.
Oh,
immediately,
I love
which
that
is
monster.
Hilarious.
I love him.
Oh, he's so good. I love Godzilla. I love.
It came back to me. Orga. You right. I'm sorry. I thought about the villains. Like you right. The ship was Millennium. It's a giant. Yeah, you're right. Because it's that when it's just the ship, it's Millennium. Then it reveals itself to be Orga, and it was very.
That's why I was asking about the wasp one, because that monster is called Mechagyrus. So I thought maybe it could have stemmed.
I did see that one too.
Yeah, that used the same suit. I pay attention to the suits every time, because sometimes they'll reuse some. Back in the 70s, they reused it to a point where you could see the rubber falling off.
Yeah.
But when they start to fix it up, I think like the 80 to 90 era looking Godzilla is my favorite look.
I do appreciate the CGI, but I do have to respect like the technicality it came as far as like making the Godzilla suit.
Yeah.
And all the other suits, like they did the King Kong one too. They had him just looking at
Oh, that was an interesting one. So like
they tried with Godzilla harder than they did with Kong. I personally think.
No, for sure. I mean, they have access to like their own suits, but Kong looked bad, but it's okay though. That was interesting though, because that was the third ever Godzilla film, and that was the first time both characters appeared in color for the first time.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. Look, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the development of these films. I will tell you right now, there was a plan for Godzilla to be going up against creatures designed by Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh.
Yeah, you see how jarring that's. And to a point, that is why Kong gets powered up by lightning at a point in that film, because Frankenstein element, but there's no connection to that anymore.
No.
And that's actually to a point of a couple other Godzilla films, which is just insanity. But it's hilarious, that weird evolution of these rubber suits.
That's the thing about this franchise. Listen, some of these monsters are badass, but I also admit, like, there's some things, like, especially, like, in the earlier ones, like, I feel like the idea for some of the kaiju are really cool. Just, I feel like, at the time that it was made it seem very cheesy, very not good, like, very, like, not as, like, monstrous, to be the safe word, as it should be, which is why, like, people have their arguments over, like, King of Monsters, like, sucked and all this stuff. Like, well, okay, I can see your point, but if you're looking at, like, plot of, like, the humans, then sure, yeah, we can argue that all day long.
Sure.
But if you just look at the monsters, which is personally what I'm here for, plot's always a bonus or adds its own effects, but I'm here for the monsters because I feel like they're all eclectic, and I'm like, fuck, yes! And,
that's an interesting point, is like, I think they've really leaned into just like doing the monsters themselves justice. They haven't like tried to like super alter anything. They just legitimately kept their proper looks, just updated to a realistic sense. And I'm so happy that they have. Like, looking at like somebody like Rodan, like they could have made him look look like a generic pterodactyl, but
I
he's
know.
legit the exact same with like the 2 spikes on his head and everything.
Oh yes.
It's so cool. I love that he comes out of a literal volcano because there was a Fire Rodan iteration at a point.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Perfect connection. And it's crazy because like the first 2014 Godzilla that was coming out, I was like following that marketing heavily all throughout. And primarily they were just selling it on Godzilla alone. Like they hinted that other monsters would show up, but
or exist. They were hinting at it.
They were hiding it a lot, and there was even like a couple shots. The rare shots they actually showed Godzilla were different because in the movie he was actually fighting a monster. He wasn't alone, which was cool.
Yeah.
And I was going in initially thinking that this was going to be Godzilla was the primary villain. He'll maybe fight some monsters, but he'll be the primary.
Oh my
villain.
God! Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that they kind of pulled a switcheroo because I love Godzilla most when he is the Earth Protector.
Right, but the fact that like they had Muto, I always fuck up that. I hate myself because I want to get.
No, you got it. It's a new monster too for this movie.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, the fact that like they had like when they when I was watching the movie and you see the opening scene and that's when you first like it's not even Godzilla you see first. It's Muto.
It's the Muto, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank God. So when you see Muto first, I'm like, my first like back of my head thought that I had before we got to the end credit scene, before they actually started hinting at stuff for this universe, I immediately thought, I'm like, there's other monsters other than Godzilla. There's other monsters other than Godzilla. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, but it was funny too. It was so funny because like while all I had was the trailers, they had like a quick sweeping shot where it's already like halfway dived in the ocean or something, and people are like breaking it down like, is this Rodan? It was not yet, but
I saw some of those theories too. Everyone's like, is this Rodan? I'm like, yo, that would be something. Like if they did that would be like bam.
Absolutely. It's just the speculation is great.
Though I'm glad they waited for Rodan for King of Monsters, just because like I feel like that would have set the bar too high. Like in my personal opinion, I'm glad that they did that their own. That they used Muto instead of any of the other ones that we named, because I feel like that was a good beta for this franchise. Because I say Godzilla did good. I personally thought it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Me too.
So based on the success of that, then they could be like, okay, well, if this worked, then let's go into this universe. And I'm really appreciating that their movies now are building universes. You know, I think Godzilla is definitely an underrated one, but also a hard one. So I appreciate the attempts that they made. So when they did that, I was very impressed. And then they said, all right, Kong is coming. I'm like, oh, go. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, the connective stuff is great because I love seeing the basically their version of Shield in this world is Monarch, and that's a great setup thing they have. And even I didn't even realize this until like I looked at the casting list. There's a character in Skull Island that reoccurs older in King of the Monsters.
Really?
Yeah, it was the black scientist guy who who was by the end of it, he's played in King of the Monsters by Cyborg's dad from Justice League.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually the same character, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I hope he plays up more in the Kong and Godzilla, which I think would just be so fun. And that was an interesting debate of topic too with Kong. Is like people were saying he's like way too small, but it's actually a factor that's Kong is still very young in that film. He's not grown yet.
Exactly. That's what I was noticing too, because at first everyone's like, well, how's that going to work? Because like, it's like people had arguments like, well, the movie took place in what, 1960, 70? When did that? 70s, yeah, 1970s that Kong took place. It's like, he's still very much a baby in this one. So I'm guesstimating by the time we get to Kong versus Godzilla, which I will be so conflicted because I really did like that fight. Like in their comics and in the old movie, I really did appreciate it. I will be very conflicted. I always got to lean towards my boy Godzilla, but I feel like it'll be more evenly stacked too. He'll be bigger, definitely. At least I feel.
Yeah, he has 50 years to grow, which is another like interesting point. I would love that they kept Godzilla's tied to the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Maybe not at this point. He's not the creation of it, but he's reawakened from it, and so are other monsters and stuff, which I think is a really cool concept. And I definitely want to talk about Kong and Godzilla, and just like I think that would be a fun thing to speculate on, because there's so many things to like try to talk about, like how things are going to go down and why they would fight to begin with. And
I feel I was kind of hoping that Comic-Con would drop some sort of trailer for it.
Yeah.
Already, like I was kind of expecting it or hoping for it, but nothing came up for it. So I'm like, well, damn.
And it was supposed to come out this year, but I think it's going to be pushed away. Unfortunately, just due to the whole pandemic. But
thanks, COVID.
But we could still have fun and anticipate where things are going to be going. A fun thing was I don't know how true they'll stick to this if they make this a story element, but it was really cool. Is like at the end of King of the Monsters, Godzilla puts out his final roar, his shriek to let other monsters know that he's the top ruler of this. He's literally the king of the monsters, and it's so cool when he's just on the mountaintop. Everyone bows to him. It's great. What I love is that because that was the whole plot point. It's like Ghidorah did that to the globe, and that's what made the monsters all come out. But then Godzilla retook that over. A new thing that was, I think, in a novelization of that film was they touch on Skull Island's effects of that. And they go into how Godzilla, basically, his shriek would reawaken all of these monsters on Skull Island, which kind of shifts allegiances because Kong rules that island.
Yeah.
But if Godzilla messes up that shift, and I think even Godzilla maybe wakes up all the skull crawlers that Kong fights all underground, which would just ruin his home. So I imagine the boy's very angry. He needs to.
That might have something to do with it too.
Which I think would be fun. And another thing is just I really do want. I'm more big for Godzilla, but I want an even match, and I think Kong also has maybe a better advantage because, frankly, Godzilla is very
huge.
He's a heavy guy, and Kong is more articulate in movement,
versatile. He can move.
Yeah,
he's quick.
He can swing a tree at you, and he also has a more evolved brain. Technically, based on his species, so I feel like.
Yeah.
Godzilla's going to get tripped up at a point. Unless maybe they go into water, then Godzilla would have an advantage.
Oh, Godzilla would definitely have an advantage, but that would be very interesting to see how that would work out.
Yeah. I want to know how things go down. There was also the potential, I don't think they're going to have well, I think they might. They'll have a Batman-Superman situation where they'll fight but team up against.
I agree, but who would they team up? Because they already used King Ghidorah, so I feel like the only one that would maybe be a good one to kind of try to go up against would, if you brought King Ghidorah back, which that's impossible, at least to me. You used and all. I know.
I have theories on that based on previous Godzilla stuff.
Because my thing is, I would like to see a vamped version of Mecha Godzilla.
Same. Which I think they might be doing.
That'd be cool.
Because
continue.
Because okay, so at the end, the end credit scene of King of the Monsters has the severed Ghidorah head, and they established a new thing that Ghidorah could regrow himself.
Yes, I noticed that too.
But
he just kind of in the comics too, when there was I forgot which one, but he kind of gets disoriented and he gets confused when they have to regrow his head, and he kind of gets confused with it. Once he's back, but it kind of throws him off, which is unfortunately when he battles and something like that happens, that's where people get the advantage when
Absolutely. No, but it's an interesting thing because in previous Godzilla films, they had Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and King Ghidorah was taken out, but they had to, at that point Godzilla was also still a threat to humans, so they had to, what they did was they rebuilt Ghidorah as a mecha Ghidorah.
I do remember a mecha Ghidorah.
Yeah, and so I think if they were to go that route, that can restructure into a larger threat of mecha Godzilla.
Ooh, I think you're on to something. That would be interesting to see. Oh,
absolutely. I'd be intrigued to see like how things go down, because they established that whole group that's.
I looked it up. So, doesn't look like that Godzilla vs. Kong won't be coming out until May 2021.
Yeah. Everything's so packed though. I need it to have space so it could actually make money.
I agree.
Because I want this to keep going. I would love new Rodan and Mothra films like they used to have.
Yes. I want Mothra to have her own film. Something. She can go against someone else. Like.
Absolutely.
I would want to see.
She herself has fought like Ghidorah variant looking monsters, and that's been interesting. It's so cool to see like the different versions of Mothra, from like the larva to the actual grown.
Right, exactly. I think what's a monster? Should I clarify my character? What's a monster you'd like to see in this universe at some point? Doesn't necessarily have to like be against anyone per se, but just one you would like to see visually.
I think at a point, I'm like think of like other monsters too, but I think at a point I would love to see Godzilla's son.
Wait, that would be Zilla, right?
No,
just hit the son of Godzilla. My bad. There's this fucking movie called Son of Godzilla.
Oh, Son of Godzilla. Hilariously silly.
Yeah, I know.
And that whole character design is hilariously.
I know.
Odd. But there's been so many iterations of Godzilla's son, and most of them are cutesy. And stop.
This is a monster.
But a great one that they had was Godzilla versus Godzilla versus Decidroia, which has Godzilla's son at a more grown point, to actually look like his dad, which is great.
Yeah.
But also that's a great monster too that literally looks like the devil, and that was an interesting one because that's the movie Godzilla dies in.
Yeah.
But it's not because of Decidroia. It's actually like it's similar to what they did in King of the Monsters, but I guess he can handle it. He has like that nuclear meltdown, basically. I don't know if they ever like touch on that in the future, but like I was so amazed and shocked and surprised to see that they translated that to this new one where he's just like surging out the energy, which was super cool. And I love that there's like a symbiosis balance between him and Mothra in the monster kingdom.
Exactly.
Because she's queen of the monsters, which is great.
She is. I love her.
And I love that she transfers her essence to Godzilla to get him his power back. But also when he does burst out that energy, you hear Mothra's cries and there's even a projection of her wing elements in it, which is so beautiful. But not to worry, because in the end credits for a newspaper, they showcase they found an egg. She will continue on.
I was so happy about that. I was so I actually cried like in my car when I'm like, is she dead? She can't be dead. I love her. She's so beautiful. I love her so much. So when I saw that the egg, I'm like, thank God. Thank God. I thought about it. I had to think about like what monster would I love to see in this universe. Definitely Manda. The underwater one. Or Manda. Manda.
The serpent?
Yeah. The underwater. Ooh. Yeah. I would love to see
that one's not used often. That's
exactly
good. I would love more underwater stuff. Like you only see him like swimming with like not a lot, but like that would be so fun. That'd be so.
Can you imagine an underwater fight between Godzilla and I'm really sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Manda or Manda? I think it's Manda. Is it Manda or Manda? I'm about to look it up. I
think it's region pronunciation, so I think you're good.
Manda?
Yeah. God, that's so good. I mean, I'm trying to think because some monsters are pretty great. Oh, no, yeah, obviously. I want to see Anguirus, the armadillo type.
Ooh, Anguirus would be cool.
That is literally the first monster Godzilla has ever fought and evolved to be a friend, which I think would be super... Because imagine a giant spiked armadillo monster just rolling around.
Just rolling around through all the place.
Oh, Monty, you make a great point. I would love to see Guy again. That like beaked monster with the hook blades.
Yeah, the blades make it badass. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, what's crazy in Final Wars is like there's a lot of subplots where like aliens are in Godzilla films, but yeah, at a point Godzilla like blows off most of his arms, and Gigan also has a buzzsaw on his chest, which is the character design is insanity. But like in Final Wars, they like rebuild his arms instead of hooks; they're just like chainsaws on both hands, and I'm just like, what is happening? It's super silly but super fun. Yeah, I forgot. There's just so many good monsters. Baragon, like so many. But yeah, I would always try to think like. I'm trying to think like the top ones.
There's it's not Spyga. That's just what I keep thinking. But like, Kamacuras.
Kind of sounds familiar. What's it look like?
It's like I want to say it's close to like a spider. It's more of like an insecty kind of creature.
There is a giant spider in Godzilla.
I know, but like there's a Spyga is the one that's a giant spider. Spider. I'm talking about maybe Kamacuras is like a fly. It's gross. I'm about to cheat and look it up, but that's one that I'm like.
I know there's an evil version of Mothra, which is a cool one called Batra.
Yeah, yes, I would see. There we go, Batra versus Mothra. Can we see that? I would love to see that, like an aerial battle, and that's then below in the sea, you just see fucking Manda versus Godzilla, like the king and queen trying to defend their title, and I'm like, lay that out.
Perfect. Oh, it's just so good. It's insane. There's so much you can do because there's so much outlandish history that you can adapt.
And you can adapt it to be like, cool, like how it is. But I also gotta respect like how cheesy it was. Like some of the comics, it's just like a yeesh, or like the movies maybe didn't really do the monsters justice.
Sure. Yeah, some are insanity. I could guarantee a crossover you will never see. There's a comic book of Godzilla King of the Monsters where Godzilla fights the Avengers.
You need to send me this comic stat.
I can literally like send it to you right now.
Can at least please? I need to read this.
I need your reaction on stream for sure.
Okay, please send it. I need it now.
Oh my god.
I really do love all the kaiju. Like,
me too.
And it sucks when none of my friends know who they are.
Oh.
And I'm just like, please, just like someone. I need to like rant about this with someone because like I love them. You sent it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
it's real.
Jacket and the Wasp can stop Godzilla?
Yeah, explain that. Because I haven't personally read.
Sure, Vision can't do anything, but let's let Wasp and Yellow Jacket go at it.
Yeah, they got it.
Just them.
Only Ant-Man can stop Thanos.
Only Ant-Man can stop Thanos.
Oh my gosh. It's so fun. And I can only imagine. I don't know where things will go, like that will allow, because they stated, as opposed to like the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, that this one will have a definitive winner. I know, which is scary, but I just want. It hurts. Yeah, gosh, and it's like I want Godzilla to win, but I also feel like it's obvious, and at the same time, I don't want him to lose. So I
100% agree with that logic. Cause it's like if he wins, it'd be obvious, but like I don't want him to. I love the boy too much for him to lose.
Yeah, and I hope that someone can. I hope the threat can step in like right before the actual final blow would come in, because a team up of Godzilla and Kong like combating together.
But what if one of them is too injured to like do anything? You know, like one of the.
It's interesting, and I wonder if they'll have like the other like existing monsters a part of it too.
Who would step in?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a new. I imagine they could have the Mothra larva.
Yeah. What if they fight because unintentionally Godzilla is trying to protect the larva of Mothra?
Oh my god!
See, I know.
They've had stuff like that.
He's just trying to protect her, and
yeah,
like
because they
Kong doesn't realize.
Yeah, they've never really had the proper like showcase that strong of a friendship. But given that like Godzilla and Mothra are at such a good place in this series now, like that would be an amazing thing. I don't know what Kong's doing, but
well, here's this is why I want to be script writer. Hire me. So here's what I would do, right? The larva gets stolen, right? Or maybe like scientists, humans find the larva, right? Because they had it in the newspaper that they discovered that she's here. Yeah. They move it to Skull Island because it's so remote, right? That's Kong's territory, right?
Yeah.
Kong is just trying to protect his island. He's trying to get the scientists out of his island. He's just trying to protect the island. Nothing beyond that. Godzilla knows that the larva is on Skull Island, so he goes over there because all he wants to do is protect the Mothra, and that's why they fight. That's what I would do, because then I love fights that it's like there's no clear like someone's the bad guy, someone's the good guy, and like Kong would just be defending his people, right? Just to be defending the island because that he rules that shit. But like you feel bad for Godzilla because like he just wants Mothra. You know, and to have them fight over that. Hire me.
Yes.
Hire me.
You are hired. It would be so good. And I think there's so many like good things you could have. I think Kong will be fueled by I really do think that thing I pitched of Kong being fueled by being angry that his island is overtaken by the skull crawlers from Godzilla waking him up.
I agree.
But I think they could also, like, if they become more friendly, Dude could also come around and help clear it. Because also, in Godzilla lore, I mean, because Kong isn't overly connected to that, in Godzilla lore, there is an actual monster island that exists that a lot of the monsters live on. If you, like, readapt Skull Island as to, like, the merger of that, and, you know, you can have a better safe-kept place for monsters to exist, that would be awesome. Monty says, they team up to fight Monster X. See, that's an interesting one because that also turns out to be Ghidorah.
Yes.
That evolves. It's a cool design though before he actually takes his original form. So that'd be fun. I would love to see, because the fact that they actually stuck to the roots that Ghidorah is an alien, I was so ecstatic about, because that opens up such a Pandora's box that you wouldn't expect. Space Godzilla would be fascinating, because that was a thing. And even I think even Biollante would be a really crazy one. the plant monster.
That would be amazing. Oh,
yeah.
There's so many fucking possibilities with this universe. I swear.
Yeah,
I swear.
I mean, again, you have like 60+ years of giant monster films to choose from.
Exactly.
For adaptation, which is it's so fun. I mean, pick from the best elements, of course. Like, don't flub things up. It's funny
what was it, King Caesar? That like, I just call it like a giant fucking dog. It just looks like a dog.
You're right. You're right. It totally. King Caesar is in 2 Godzilla films. He's in that original one, but I think he's in Godzilla against. No, he's in Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is the sequel.
You're right. You're right. But he's just like a giant fucking dog, like a rabid dog.
Yeah, and I think he helped Godzilla fight that. He helped Godzilla fight Titanosaurus, which was this annoying cackling sea dinosaur,
like
and I'm just like,
but worse.
Oh, that's one of like the lower ones. But I love all the Mechagodzilla designs as well, and I think they would do something special. I don't know if have you seen Ready Player One?
I have seen Ready Player One.
That was not only so fun, they had Mechagodzilla in it.
I screamed. I'm pretty
God.
sure I reacted to it. I reacted to it. Yeah, I did.
I have to see that.
I'll send that to you because I saw it. I freaked out. I'm like, Godzilla!
No, I lost my mind. I mean, there's so many like nerd things in that movie, but when they pulled out my biggest heartstring of nostalgia for that,
I cried. I cried.
I freaked out because I was like looking at. I was like, oh my god, it has the freaking finger missiles and everything. I was like, oh my god.
I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I lost my shit.
It's literally the very classic first Mechagodzilla updated modernly, and that's super fantastic. I think it might have been the same studio that's making these Godzilla movies too. I think so.
Oh my god!
Please,
so many possibilities.
Oh, it's so fun. These are all just so fun, and it's funny because like a lot of it comes down to like destruction and stuff. But I will say, when the 2014 Godzilla started, a lot of the film he's just kind of like around, and you're just like, okay, so this is cool. But when like out of nowhere you see his spine start to illuminate, and then the nuclear breath comes out, because it's not in the marketing, and I was thinking they were going to do what they did with 98 and not have him do it again. I was like, all right, well, at least he looks better. But then he did it, and I lost my mind.
Nathan, when I tell you I lost my shit, because I agree with you, because the whole time, like, he's not going to do the thing. He doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to do it. He's just there. He's just there. And then so I'm in the movie theater. I'm with my cast. Mind you, I'm the only one on the edge of my seat, like, oh. It's just like a cloud of smoke, and I see the blue, which I like the design. Like the design, I'm like, oh my god. You see it light up, and I'm like, oh my god. I know. I'm like,
gorgeous.
I'm like, oh my god. And then like just my favorite was when like he just
oh my god, when it just decapitated.
He baby birded it, and I'm just like, yes. I was so happy. Like for some reason that was so badass to me. That was just like, damn, way to put a stamp in it, Godzilla. My god.
It just roars to the sky, and I'm just like, that is the best sound in cinema. Thank you. That is so good.
It was at that point too, like all my friends when we're watching that, right? And then like the thing lights up and he lets it out, and then he just goes, and I'm like, and then I'm like, I look at all my friends like, okay, yeah, Godzilla's cool. Like I told you. Like,
I'm saying,
thank you.
It's
what
so
did I say?
An insane thing is, I love that they have the story element in the new film. They use the oxygen destroyer, which is from the first ever Godzilla film. Is the only way to actually kill him. I really, I love the fact that it was used, but I also kind of wish they kept its kind of grim nature to it, because it is an extremely deadly weapon. And like in the original film, they were even like they were even set with the thing is like the scientist that designed this is going to be the one that detonates it, because he's the only one with the map plans to create it in his mind, and he's like, I'm not letting the world have this.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I see it in this movie, and it's like, oh, the military already has it. All right. But
It's like, oh no. It's like, I don't like that looming over my conscious.
Yeah, but it's also was a great set reveal because we as fans know what it is. So when they use it and you see like all the fish surface and it's like Godzilla doesn't come up, but Ghidorah still comes up, that's insanity. And then he just screams on the volcano in front of the class, which is
I'm like,
it's so good. But then I also love the scene where they have Kurosawa, I think that was the name, detonate the explosive in Godzilla's home that we've never seen. That's cool. Like this underwater temple. It's basically Atlantis.
It's Atlantis.
Which is cool. It's just a lost underwater city, which is so. And it sucks that it gets blown up. I'm sure Godzilla's like, "Yo, you destroyed my house," but saved his life. That's such a beautiful moment too, because I love that character. I think it's Kurosawa. He shares the same name as the actual scientist that built the oxygen destroyer. I think you're right. Yeah. I love that he has ties to his grandfather from the bomb era because he wears his watch. He had that stop, and him just like revisiting Godzilla closely and reconciling with him. Like Godzilla's like super weak, so all he can really do is just like look at him. But he's calm. And there's just like that moment of peace before the eruption, which is great. And then, of course, he comes out looking brand new like this. Yeah. It just goes down from that point. He's supercharged. It was just such a blast, man.
Just the adrenaline rush I get from watching these monsters just do what they do. I'm like, fuck, yes!
Absolutely. Oh, another thing I'm happy about, because, the human characters aren't as strong as they can be because you have to balance your association with the monsters to keep your audience engaged. But I actually am happy that the existing family from King of the Monsters is going to be in Kong versus Godzilla. So Millie Bobby Brown, everybody will be back. So
yes,
at least we don't have to restructure to a new set family again. We can like just kind of already be in a flow, which is phenomenal. And I love that they were also already tied to monster stuff anyway. That was great.
Exactly.
Okay, Monty says the giant spider monster is called Kumanga or Spiga. Okay.
I was right. I said Spiga. Okay, I was close. What the fuck was the other one that I was saying?
Okay, yeah, because I never heard that name. I've only heard the Japanese name, I guess, for Kumanga.
Oh, you're good.
I think he also says, I think the concept of his atomic blast having to start up or charge makes it more believable and more cooler. Oh yeah, I mean, any sense of like there needing to be more energy put is great. Like he literally is a nuclear powerhouse, so that makes all the sense.
It makes it flow, I feel like.
Yeah, and the fact that he does like supercharge, and that's why I wonder if they ever will go the course of him like having a nuclear meltdown.
I feel like they should. That would be a great like plot point if that was one of the things that would happen.
That's a great event because that was also a big event when Destroyer came out because it was like they had to cryogenically freeze Godzilla to cool it down to stop it. But it was also literally, even though these films were kind of just like centered in Japan and would take forever to be on VHS around the world, literally the world broke news everywhere that Godzilla died, and it was a worldwide event.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I even have like a memory of like, I don't know if maybe it was like the first time it was debuting on TV around or something. Maybe it was the first time she saw it, but she woke me up in the middle of the night at some point because we were Godzilla fans to show me the whole Godzilla event that was happening. I was like, oh my God, this is insanity. I'm like 3, but this is insanity.
I remember that. Like I was a wee lad. Like this all happened. I'm like, oh, he did? What?
No. But then, and I have such memories of like I'm a big person into like browsing physical media. Like anytime I'm like at a Walmart or something, I'm just like, I'm gonna go over to electronics. I'm gonna check out all the movies that are listed. So one of my favorite things ever in a pastime was going to Blockbuster. which I super miss.
We're aging ourselves right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, going to Blockbuster was just like one of my favorite pastimes, and very often I would rent Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which was the sequel to Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, but that's fine. I was just like, this is cool because it's Godzilla and it's Mechagodzilla, and there's some Mothra in there. Everything hits all the points. I'm playing it constantly. That was the thing. I would either rent a Godzilla film or I'm renting a Muppet film because I like puppets, I guess.
There's a trend here. I'm noticing the theme.
Oh yeah, and it just like getting to like my deeper thought of like filmmaking with all different aspects. But it's super cool, and especially in an era where I would just like rewatch stuff again and again, back to back, the exact same thing. But yeah, it's just something about that one specifically. Maybe because it was always readily there. I guess I was the only person who liked rubber suits, but I went to go get it, and it was just great every time. And it was, I think middle school was basically where I really started like pump up my knowledge of everything. Because then I started like showcasing it to my friend. And then I get him hooked on it too, of like the lore and stuff. And I'm just like, this is insanity. Look at all this. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
It's such a fun series, such a fun time.
I think what I like about all the kaiju is the fact that there's so much that you could like learn. I mean, I feel like that's the same thing with like comics and like TV shows and stuff, but like I really do feel like when it comes to kaiju, one, it's very underrated. Like not a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a whatever, I know Godzilla, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, there's so much more that goes into it. This whole universe, like all these monsters, like there's so much that goes into it, and there's so much you can like get lost in, like all these like matchups and how these creatures are formed and made and fight and die. And I'm like, I just much.
Literally all people like for the longest time in pop culture, all people would associate Godzilla with is it's a cheesy rubber suit effect and badly dubbed dialogue, which strictly is not the case. And I will say, even though kind of hypocritical based on my hero reactions, but I think read subtitles and hear the original language is very important for the original actors who performances, for sure. I mean, like for example, like recently the won Best Picture Parasite this past year. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's phenomenal.
I have not seen it. It's on my list. I'm probably going to watch it on my own time on my vacation because I really do want to watch it.
That would be good because it's so phenomenal, and I don't even think there is a dub for it.
I don't need to worry about that. I watched it.
You don't.
It's like I don't.
So well. And honestly, it flows so well, and it really is probably like the film that's like restructured me. Just like just lock in and pay attention. It was great. I saw it like on Halloween night. It was phenomenal, but and yeah, well-deserved win. And which is also great because it's breaking down barriers of like the fact that it won like 4 big Oscars.
Absolutely.
Like that's phenomenal, and it's finally like getting the era of like breaking down different layers of seeing different films come from overseas. And I will say, especially like this past year, the beginning of the year, I went to go see this anime film called Weathering with You.
I love Weathering with You.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, I reacted to it. I cried so hard.
It's so beautiful. I haven't seen its predecessor, Your Name, yet, which I'm probably going to check out immediately. I really need to watch Your Name. But Weathering with You is just...
But Your Name is so good. Oh,
I heard. I need to see, because they're the same people that made Weathering with You. And I fell in love with Weathering with You. It's like one of my top films of this year at all. I mean, there haven't been a lot of films, granted, but it was just so fun. Like right from the get-go, it just like was sticking at my top for so long. And so I feel like people look more into the Godzilla film. Like even as recently, like 2016, they had Japan made their own Godzilla film called Shin Godzilla. It's a brand new take on it because it goes through like different evolutions to become Godzilla, but also like really different designs. But it's a great story set because it's like not like a super political thing, but it's like it's a great message of like the entire nation working together to stop this threat in their global area, which is such a phenomenal message. And the fact that like the whole execution of it is brought together, and that's why it ended up winning Film of the Year in Japan.
It's so fucking good.
There's so many good stories. Like,
fucking good.
Look, if you want to have like some like normal fun time with some cheesy ones, you can have that, and you can just have a blast of just like laughing, or just like there are even like the super cool ones, like the Final Wars one. It's not super deep, but it's super fun and epic. But there's
absolutely.
But also, if you want just like the dramatic stuff of the original 1954 and all this stuff, and there's a lot of like really good Godzilla films that peak all the different range of anything you're looking for. So I would highly recommend making your own jump and dive into the whole type of series, because they were broken up into different series. There's 3 series based on generational points, and I think there's something for everybody in any of those eras. So I would definitely recommend that. But I will say I'm probably just going to end up randomly filling time for no reason anyway, and we have the hour mark, so I think this is a good place to end up here. But I had such a fun time. Brittany, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to talk with someone and geek out about like the world of the kaiju, because I don't get to do that a lot here. Like my friends, like they'll try, and I'm just like, no, it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just so fun. So I definitely appreciate having you here. For the people viewing, where could they find you?
Oh, yes, you can find me on my channel. Hi. You can find me on my channel, BritSmash. You can follow my Twitter. It's also Smash24. I might have changed it. I'll just look up BritSmash. You should find me. And then there's also my Instagram. It's also BritSmash Media. There's that too.
And as always, you can find me, links in the description below, everything available. Plenty of stuff to check out here on my channel of varying degrees of nerdism. And you can even find me over on Brittany's channel doing different collaborative stuff, which has been super fun. I'm always happy to do anything. I think tonight we have debuting a Cards Against Humanity thing, was
such
super
a funny game.
So fun. Everybody got to cosplay for Comic-Con week. I am your Jedi Master for the evening. And to that point, if you did enjoy this stream, please hit the like button, subscribe if not already. And that being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.